quite frankly, there are moments in this game where you sense the urgency, and you sense that, something might have happened that has altered the outcome of the game, and unfortunately, for my game, I don't think this was a good outcome. The vote today came down to Meredith and Sophia. I hate that, because ideally, obviously, that's not who I wanted to send home either way. I'd like to think that Sophia is one of my truest allies in the game. But you never know. So I was going to do anything I could to hopefully keep Sophia in the game, because mine and Meredith's relationship really isn't all that developed. Through no fault of either her or my own, we haven't really got a lot of one-on-one time. And in this game, the group conversations and the breakdown rooms and stuff, they're great, but nothing really forms a game plan like those one-on-one groups where, you really got those quick little conversations, because everybody's watching who are in those groups. So you can't really stay long there. So this game is going to come down to these quick 3 to 5 minute conversations that you have in these one-on-one groups. But to start out, Crossroads, the whisper rooms, they open up, and I'm not getting any requests. Nobody's really saying like, "Hager, you want to jump in a whisper room?" Nobody's wanting a speed date with me today. So I am worried about that. If maybe there's nothing to worry about, but at the same time, when nobody's wanting to talk, like it kind of throws a red flag. Well, if they're not wanting to talk to me, is it about me? So I bring Holly into a whisper room, and immediately on jumping into the room, she says she's worried about Sophia, and that scares me, because, Sophia in my mind is somebody that I have in my corner, and somebody I should keep in my best interest. And we already have established that, Holly, she's got to go. She's a threat. But yeah, she mentions to me in a weird way, she's like, "I'm worried about Sophia." She never said, "Hey, let's vote Sophia." She never said, "What do you think about Sophia?" That I can remember. But she said, "I'm worried about Sophia." And, that worries me, So the vote comes down. My ass is on the bottom of the vote. I knew it. Sophia goes home, which is a blow to my game. But then when we jump back, kind of get some reassurance, a ray of sunshine, kind of when Kayla jumps in and is like, did you vote for Meredith?" "Yeah, I voted for Meredith. I wanted to keep Sophia." And immediately she's like, "Damn it, beep, beep, beep." Like she seems, upset with herself that she didn't want to vote with me, or she didn't vote with me because she didn't think I was going to vote that way. And she wanted to avoid doing what I did. She wanted to avoid being in the bottom. And I believe it. I truly believe she was being sincere and genuine about feeling remorseful about not voting to keep Sophia. But who knows? She could be blowing smoke. But this kind of is making a bond with me and Kayla more significant. I've cast my nets. I've tried to, in a roundabout way, recruit everybody that I can to see who is best to my game. And Kayla, she's a tough competitor, but I think at this moment, in this phase of the game, it's in our best interest to work together, and dare I say, maybe even work with Schneidman and Dixon. That feels disgusting to say, work with Dixon, because I've wanted him gone for a while. It's no secret. But really, Kayla said something that worried me. She's like, "Hager, listen, if Meredith, Matthew, and Holly make it, close enough, those are the big three. Those are the three that are going to be your in game." And she's right. I've noticed them. They're always kind of in a roundabout way, close in groups and stuff like that. But I have noticed that you've never really heard any of those people say any kind of have any weird feelings or anything about the others. Nobody in that group has brought up the other members of that group's name, which kind of is scary. By a process of elimination, they got to be working together. So yeah, that's the move. like Harvey Two-Face Dent said in Batman, Dark Knight. You either die a hero or see yourself live long enough to become the villain. And dare I say, it's time to become the villain a little bit. So I think that as hard as it is, we want to stay Adam strong. We want to bring it home and do a clean sweep. Like, it might be time to be a little vicious, Everybody likes the good guys, but damn, I've wanted to be a bad guy in this game for a while. So maybe it's time, Time will tell if the outcome of tonight really affects the end game of this game. But I truly believe it will. I do. I wish, no offense to you, Meredith. I wished it would have been you. I forgot to even mention how fucking awkward. I jump in a room with Meredith, and I think she already knows. I think by process of elimination, she's smart. She's not stupid. She's put 2 and 2 together, probably, that I was the vote to keep Sophia. I was the vote to send her home. And so, being the transparent guy I am, as soon as I jump in there, I say, Meredith, hey, first and foremost, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I voted for you. This is why. Oh, there. Train, West Virginia. Hold on. Okay. So Meredith jumps in, and I'm like, Meredith, I voted for you, and these are my reasons why. Oh my God. And she's like, Hager, you voted for me? She could have been blowing smoke, but I immediately put my foot in my mouth. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was not thinking. Like, I just assumed the worst. I assumed that she knew. So I was just going to be upfront about it, and say that I really felt closer to Sophie, which is true. I've not had a lot of time with Meredith. But hopefully that's not fucked me too hard. I hope that I didn't commit game suicide. I hope that me and Kayla can rally the troops, and maybe if who knows what the next day brings. But God, I just can't imagine myself at this point extending the olive branch across the aisle to Dixon and working with him, because I can't trust him. Even if I do work with him, I can't trust him. But like I said, maybe it's time to be the villain and start tearing into some Team Adam. At this point, it's all about survival. So we'll see what the next day brings, and hopefully I'm here to talk to you again tomorrow.
Hey, what's going on there, Expedition? I just want to talk about last night, and in my opinion, absolutely everything went wrong. From the challenge to strategy time to crossroads to post-crossroads, just the entire night, in my opinion, was an absolute disaster for me. To start with the challenge, I was definitely too confident heading in, especially whenever I saw the video. I'm thinking in my head, like, I absolutely have an advantage in this because I'm light. But unfortunately, my thought process was wrong because I finished in 3rd place. This sounds really disgusting, but it's the truth. My feet were just really, really sweaty. The upper body part wasn't necessarily an issue for me. It's just I couldn't hold on to the wall because my feet were so sweaty. And it really sucks because I hold myself to really high standards, and especially when it's something I know I can do. And that was a challenge. I know for a fact I'm more than capable of winning, but I unfortunately did not win, and I came in 3rd place. And it honestly kind of ticked me off, especially towards the end of the night, because, not the end of the night, the end of the challenge, because Jonathan decides to throw a twist at us, and he's like, guess what, guys? You guys are going to crossroads, and you guys are voting 2 people out instead of 1 person out. And I'm thinking in my head, like, this was my chance. That was my chance, absolutely, to win and not have to use any of my advantages, and I would have been guaranteed final 5 at least. But unfortunately, it did not go my way. The challenge didn't, and I'm really disappointed in myself because I was really confident and I lost, which, like I said, it's a challenge I was more than capable of winning. But anyways, though, so we go into strategy time, and the beginning of strategy time works really great for me, in my opinion. I get Team Adam, not necessarily Team Adam, but I get Sophia and Kayla to realize that they need to turn on Team Adam eventually, and that's what they decide to do. Originally going in, I thought it was going to be Team Adam voting out Team Wendell again, which was just JJ and Schneidman. But honestly, I didn't want to vote out Schneidman because I want to work with him going forward. JJ, on the other hand, I was perfectly fine getting rid of him. But anyways, though, I made Sophia and Kayla realize that they needed to start taking out Team Adam. And they really did do that because they came up to me and said, hey, let's take out Holly. And I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, that's a good start, guys. We're taking out somebody from Team Adam. And they wanted to do Holly. But honestly, I wanted to do Meredith because it just made more sense, in my opinion, to take out somebody that I don't talk to in the game. I at least have a few conversations with Holly compared to Meredith. So I tried switching the vote, and that's where, in my opinion, the night started going south for me. So originally, they come up with the plan that it should be me, Kayla, and Sophia voting out Holly. Well, I go into the chat with Schneidman, Holly, and JJ, and I tell Holly, like, listen, Holly, Kayla and Sophia, they want you out, but I don't want you out. I want to keep working with you, so how about this group here votes Meredith? And everyone says, yeah, let's do it and stuff like that. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yes, this is going great. And then JJ says one thing, and it really just throws me off. He's like, so Dixon, who's the second vote? And I'm like, I didn't think you were going to say that, dude. And he literally asked, and I couldn't be like, JJ, you're the second vote, because then he's not going to want to vote with me. So I didn't know what to say, and I start baffling just like random stuff, and I try saying, I thought it was only one vote, and I already knew it wasn't. And then Schneidman says, like, so what you really mean is this. And I'm like, exactly, you read my mind, my dude, like, exactly what I meant. Thank you so much. So I get everyone, at least I think, to vote Meredith in that chat. Well, I didn't realize that Holly, Meredith, and Adam were the core of that alliance. I knew Holly and Meredith were working together, but I thought Holly was so paranoid that she would vote out Meredith to save herself. I was wrong about that. So we head into Crossroads, and Meredith and Holly start the whisper room out, and it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So my whisper room was with Schneidman, Sophia, and Meredith. So with Schneidman, I told him, listen, dude, stick with the vote. Just trust me. I'm not going to be able to vote tonight. At least I think I said that. Because I also told Kayla and Sophia that. I'm like, just stick with it, my man. Trust me. We'll get Meredith out. And I don't think I told him JJ, but that was the second person I was going for. So then I end that one. I hop in one with Sophia. I'm like, hey, Sophia, I'm just double checking to see if you guys are still doing Holly. And then she tells me she's doing Meredith. And by the way, she also told me Meredith has a steal vote. I'm like, great, we're going to go Meredith now. Everyone's on board. The joke was on me because I end up using one of my powers, which was the shortcut, and I escaped Crossroads. But apparently it was an insane vote for Crossroads, and it was a 3 to 2 to 2 to 1 to 1 vote. And honestly, that does kind of tell me that if I didn't leave Crossroads, maybe the vote was me, because it did seem like a very chaotic vote there. But unfortunately, we won't know that. But the results of that was that Sophia and Meredith they tied, so they had to break the tie with the vote. And Sophia goes home, and that's not great for my game right now, because I know I said in like my past confessionals that I wanted Sophia out, and I did want Sophia out, but I'd rather have Meredith out than Sophia, because logically speaking, it makes more sense for me to keep Sophia just because of the fact that I at least talk to her compared to Meredith, because I don't talk to Meredith at all. I haven't had really one great game conversation with her. So Sophia gets voted out, and I'm thinking in my head like, oh, what could have went wrong? Well, guess what? Schneidman, like an idiot, did not vote the way I told him. He split his extra vote, and I'm thinking in my head, like, what are you doing, man? I told you what to do. Like, just believe me. And then I also found out later that Kayla votes Sophia off. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, it was crazy, and I wasn't there, unfortunately, but I'm a little upset with myself because I could have played my compass and everything would have went right, assuming that the vote was the same, because then I would have had a vote. But I played my shortcut, banking on that I'm going to win tonight and I can use my compass for final 6 if needed. Oh, but anyways though, Sophia gets voted out, Kayla votes her out, and Kayla, like whenever we get back, Kayla's kind of just saying like, Dixon, right now is not the time to go for your own needs in this game. And I'm thinking in my head like, oh, what do I tell her? She's pissed off at me already. And I just kind of just say, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry about that. Even though I didn't really mean it, because I wasn't sorry. But yes, unfortunately, Sophia went home. I wanted Meredith to go home instead of Sophia, but that's kind of, I guess, how the dominoes fell that night. So, it was exhausting. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say before I Oh, one more thing too. I made a rookie mistake, and I mean a rookie mistake. I had a chance at the compass, but unfortunately, my big mouth got in the way again, and I just can't believe it because I see sneaky pop up on all the mods things, and like a moron, I literally say it out loud right to Schneidman, and Schneidman gets it before me. And I'm pissed at myself because it was a rookie mistake, and I know better than that because I played Expedition Online before. It was a rookie mistake I made, very upset with myself, and he reads me the clue, and this kind of ticks me off even more because he said he has to go, probably meet with someone, and battle it out for a compass. And the thing is that the guy sucks at these challenges, so I'm thinking in my head, like, basically, whoever got the second half of the clue is going to get a free compass because Schneidman absolutely sucks at these challenges. He's always the first one out. Oh, it was just a rookie mistake I made, and I'm pissed off at myself for it. But I'm hoping tonight goes better. I need to win individual exemption. I think tonight is a mental challenge compared to a physical one. So I'm hoping to pick up the W for Team Adam and Dixon. Let's freaking go. I'm hoping tonight goes a lot better, and I do have my compass to fall back on if needed. So I'll catch you guys in another video soon. See you guys.
I totally cannot believe that I survived. Now Meredith needs to survive. Hopefully Meredith will survive. That's what I'm hoping for. Thing right now. Ooh. It was a 2-2. Well, 1-1-1-1-1, 2-2. Meredith, Sophia. So hopefully Sophia will go. I hope. Come on, Meredith. I think we have it because we've got Kayla, Matthew, me, Hager. I think that they'll all vote
Matthew,
Sophia. I don't know. It's so scary. She needs to go, or we got no shot. Okay. Good luck, Meredith. Okay, so lots of stuff to unpack today. Oh my goodness. I do just want to say for the record that I am the only person by the fire. There are people at the outpost. There are people at the river. There are people fucking off doing all kinds of crazy shit. Who's at the fire? Me, all by myself. Watching the fire, making sure that we have heat for the water so we have something to drink later. Just me chilling here. So I'm just gonna stay here and I'm gonna wait and make sure that we have everything we need, and maybe somebody will come and chat with me. We'll see. I don't know. But until they do, I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling. Okay, so a couple of different things today. I really wanted to get Dixon out. That guy, he's got like 1,000 lives. Okay, so the challenge was fabulous. I loved it. I don't know how Jess like comes up with this crap in her head, but oh my god, she's amazing. So that's number one. Number two is I wanted to do better than Dixon. That was my goal, right? Just to do better than Dixon, which I accomplished. So as soon as he was done, I mean, I was kind of out of it anyway, just because get away from my phone so it doesn't get fucked up. Okay. Dixon was going to be who I went after. He was my target. That's who I wanted gone. I wanted to make sure I did better than him. As soon as he was out, I was out. I didn't even really have a choice because I literally was like Superman sliding on my yoga mat. It didn't work. So, anyway. So, that was that. Kayla won the challenge, which was great because it wasn't Sophia, so I would have been sad if it was Sophia because then it would have been me. The vote would have been me tonight. So, that's that. How did it happen? Okay, so as soon as Crossroads time was announced, it was chaotic. Like, people were everywhere. People were at the outpost. People were at the waterfall. People were by the fire. I mean, people were everywhere trying to figure out, like, what the heck was going to go on. Especially because 2 people got voted out tonight, right? So 2 people were going home. So the people with the most votes, well, the struggle with that became that Schneidman had an extra vote, which really made him 2 instead of 1. And JJ had a vote. So that's 3, not really 2. So it really could have been 3, 3, 4, or 3, 3, whatever. So essentially, if they would have voted together, which they didn't do, but if they would have voted together, they could have had somebody else out. They could have, like, decided who they wanted to go. And it wasn't. I wish that they would have both voted for Sophia, so it would have been a revote, but it is what it is. So there was a vote for me, a vote for Schneidman, 2 votes for Meredith, 2 votes for Sophia, 3 votes for JJ. So process of elimination. I voted for Sophia. Sophia, I think, voted for me. Matt said he voted for Schneidman. I believe that JJ voted for Sophia, and I also think that Schneidman's 2 votes counted for Meredith, because Dixon was like, oh, we gotta get rid of Meredith, let's get rid of Meredith, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's how the votes went, and everybody else voted for JJ. Like I said, I did not want JJ or Schneidman to go. I would have really liked to have found a strategic way to, like, keep them both, but it just wasn't going to happen. I only had 1 vote. I didn't know about freaking Schneidman's idol. We could have played that somehow to our advantage, but it is what it is. I'm super happy that it ended up being the way that it was, because the revote was 2-2. So I'm glad that Dixon left, because Dixon would have voted for me, potentially, because I don't really believe him. But he was with Sophia, so it could have been a 2-2-2 vote if he would have stayed. But so he ended up screwing over Sophia, but he didn't end up screwing me over. It ended up working out my benefits. I'm glad he left. So it ended up being perfect. But that dude has, like, freaking radar. He's like, advantage, idol, compass, advantage, compass, advantage, compass. That's what he does. That's all he does, is, like, find shit. I have too much stuff going on during the day to, like, be, like, online as much as he is, but holy shit. Anyway, so that's that. Let me think. Revote happens. Dixon leaves because he's got safety without power. I cannot believe I didn't figure that shit out, because, duh, it would have not been a compass. It would have been a shortcut to go back to camp, which is fine. But, okay, so he goes back to camp. The remaining votes are 2, well, the votes go. So then it's 3 JJ, he's gone. 2 Meredith and 2 Sophia. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Hager, me, Matt, and Kayla are all going to vote Sophia. That's perfect. Well, I didn't know that Hager, like, has a freaking side deal with Sophia. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Because I thought that Hager and me and Kayla were close together. But that is not the case. Like, I talked to Hager a little bit, and then he was just, I guess, shady as hell. Really wanted to, like, well, I mean, that's not really true either, right? He was my second layer of like, excitement, right? So it's Meredith, Kayla, Matt, me, then Hager. But then I told you guys, like, then it was Sophia and then Dixon. So I'm really glad that one of the 2 of them are gone. That was my goal. That's what had to happen. So Final 7 is here. I think tomorrow is going to be just another chaotic day. We're going to end up having some whatever crazy ass challenge that Jess has in store for us, and we will figure out, like, how to move forward. Right now, I think there's a 4-3 split, but I feel like this 3 could potentially be, like, maybe, if they think maybe it's a 4, so it could be a 4-4, and I'm in the middle. Maybe. Right? It's all really going to depend on what the advantage is that that Matt gets, and he gets to go to do at the summit. So many things up in the air. Dixon, as always remains my number one target. He's who I'd love to see scurry on out the front door. That's my plan. We'll see how it works. I don't know. Nothing that I've actually planned. Well, that's not true. Stuff that I've planned has happened. It's just not happened exactly the way that I had planned it to happen. But it's okay. You know, half of the plan succeeding is a successful plan. And really, in all actuality, because I'm still here. I can't believe it. I'm so excited and thrilled. But ooh, I hear somebody coming, so I'm gonna get off. I'll talk to you later. Ciao.
Okay, so this is my confessional for Expedition Online. I apologize that it's really dark. I'm going to work, and this is probably the only time I'm going to be able to do this. I'm pretty upset. I single-handedly voted out my number one ally because in my mind, there was no way that Hager would ever vote out Meredith. I assumed that he was a lot closer to Meredith than to Sophia. Neither of them have ever told me that they were close, so I had no idea. And I really am upset. I think that there's a good chance that I probably lost the game with that move. I basically stayed up all night ruminating over that situation, so, you know, it's not looking good for me, but I do just kind of have to remember that I've never played these games and everyone here is more experienced than me. I think at this point I'm the only person who hasn't gotten an advantage or a compass, so just overall it's not really looking good for me. You know, it is what it is. Top 7 is still a pretty good place to be. Another thing that happened was that it got out to everybody via me that Meredith has the steal a vote, so I'm sure that will come back to bite me. I know that Meredith, Matthew, and Holly just talk together, just themselves all the time, so I mean, they might already be plotting against me. I'm sure that they are. They're extremely savvy players. So basically my two options are to just roll with Holly, Meredith, Matthew, and hope I get the immunity win at Final Four, or go with Hager, with Schneidman and Dixon. I thought, with me staying up basically all night ruminating over this stuff, I thought at first that I would go with the Dixon contingent because that would give me a better chance moving forward, but unfortunately Dixon at every single turn in this game just shows me that I cannot trust him. I don't know why he's deciding to play this way. I don't know why he blew up the plan to Holly, probably one of the most insulated people in the group, when he has been at the bottom since literally after the Nate vote. It's unfortunate because I think that foursome would be really good, but I just can't. I just don't want my game to be in the hands of Dixon. I didn't even want to do this coup that Sophia planned because of Dixon, and, you know, he outed me to Holly, and, I mean, I was partially right, so all in all, pretty disappointed, just really, really upset that I had the chance to save my number one ally, and I didn't. So, we'll see how it goes from here. Peace.
What is going on, guys? Matthew back again for another confessional, and oh my gosh, that was an intense crossroads. Let's start with the challenge though. So today's challenge was to do the downward dog yoga pose for 5 minutes, just standard, and then the next 5 minutes you have to put one leg up on the wall below a tape that is measured to your hip level. And then after 5 minutes of that, you do 2 legs. But I don't think anyone, well, actually they did make it to 2 legs, but I personally did not make it past the 1 leg. The second I got to 1 leg, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna fall. I had worked out previously, like yesterday I did upper body, and so my triceps and my chest and my back and my shoulders are sore. And so when I got in downward dog position, which I'm pretty familiar with, like I do yoga on a weekly basis. I do vinyasa flow yoga. But I got in the downward dog position and I was like, yeah, there's no shot on this earth that I'm gonna outlast all these people, because my whole upper body was just sore. So the second I was in the position, I was perfect form, by the way. Like, I mean, my form, if you had to grade people in their downward dog form poses, I think I'd take home the cake. I think I was doing it about as perfect as you can. But enough of that, I ended up not winning, and Kayla ended up pulling out the challenge, which was huge because she's in my Core 4 Alliance. It's me, Kayla, Meredith, and Holly. And so the plan with us was to split the votes between JJ and Dixon, because we had to vote 2 people out tonight, and the 2 people with the most votes go home. So that was the plan, and then we get to Crossroads, and Dixon's like, I have a shortcut, and so we can't vote for Dixon anymore. So in my head, I was like, I guess we're going back to JJ Schneidman, because we're gonna stay Team Adam Strong. And so I switched my vote to Schneidman, but once the votes were counted, it was just madness. I think 5 different people got a singular vote. And then JJ got 3, which eliminated JJ, which was huge. And then Meredith and Sophia tied with 2 votes each, I believe. And Meredith is part of that Core 4, and Sophia's the 5th, right on that edge. But we had to vote for one of them, and since Meredith is in my Core Alliance, I voted for Sophia, sadly, because I wanted her to at least stick around to the final 5, but it is what it is. At least it wasn't one of our Core 4, so now it's the final 7, and our Core 4 Alliance has the numbers, which is huge. I actually claimed an opportunity to have an advantage. I saw a sneaky thing, and I messaged it to Shane. And so I have an opportunity. I have to go to the summit after the challenge tomorrow, and I have to face off someone for an advantage. And the way it worked earlier in the season was that Holly and Schneidman both went to the summit, and they had to agree on if they both wanted an extra vote or if they wanted to face off for a compass. So I believe that's what I'm doing. And I'm assuming Dixon probably got it because he's really savvy and is always paying attention to that kind of stuff. So if that's the case, I'm hoping I can convince him to just take the extra vote. But if not, I'm just gonna destroy him in the competition at the summit and take the compass for myself and my alliance. So yeah, wild Crossroads tonight. I'm looking forward to the next day. So stay tuned. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so day 10, still here, still an expeditioner. No less of a happy one, seeing as how there were 2 votes on me tonight. But first off, I'm gonna warn you, this is going to probably be a bit of a meandering confessional. I was anticipating taking an excused absence today. My mother-in-law is visiting this weekend. We had people over today to see my husband because he's in a full leg cast and hasn't really been leaving the house much. And I've been doing a little bit of day drinking, so I'm not peak Meredith right now, and I feel like that has affected the game a little bit. I fear I may have had a little bit of too loose lips tonight, thanks to the lubrication of some Jack Daniels. Jack has done me wrong, but I'm still here, so that's something. So, start off with the challenge. I don't know what the fuck happened. Go talk to the others. I wasn't there. But I had the excused absence. I popped in, and then I learned during the strategy time, as I'm just kind of like listening, that 2 people are going to be eliminated tonight. And I know that all the votes were on Hager last time when he was absent. So I was like, well, fuck.
Luckily, I've been talking about this game a bit this weekend, and my mother-in-law is very invested in it, and she's a wonderful woman. So she was like, "You do what you need to do to save yourself in the game, and I'll just chill with everybody else." So I was thankfully able to join the strategy time in the crossroads. But so during the strategy time, our two ideas were to put the votes, sorry, like I said, it's gonna be rough, split the votes between JJ and Schneider, split the votes between JJ and Dixon. Okay, so take two. So we're at strategy before crossroads, and we decided to split the vote between JJ and Dixon, with backup and what we tell Dixon being JJ and Schneidman. So we get to tribal, and there's some whisper room activity, and Matthew tells me that Holly has told him that my name and Holly's names are on the chopping block. So I'm debating whether to use my steal a vote, and then we get to the vote, and Dixon, Sneaky Snake Dixon, who I have read entirely wrong up until this point. I mean, props to Dixon for, I definitely did not have him pegged as good of a player as he has turned out to be. So props to Dixon. But Dixon is like, "Peace, bitches," and he plays his shortcut and goes back to base camp and avoids crossroads, avoids getting votes, but also cannot vote. So because Dixon was gone, I thought it was safe to not play my steal a vote, which, I mean, ultimately turned out to be the right move, but it was a stressful move too. So the votes come out, and they are 3 votes for JJ, so he's gone. 1 vote for Schneidman, 1 vote for Holly, 2 votes for me, and then 2 votes for Sophia. So I think it's like a big algebra problem. I think what the votes were is, I think that me and Hager voted for JJ. Schneidman used his extra vote to vote for JJ. Schneidman also put a vote on me, and JJ put a vote on me. Matthew voted for Schneidman. I think maybe Sophia voted for Holly. And then Holly voted for Sophia, and I'm guessing Kayla also voted for Sophia. So then it was tied. We had to do a revote. And then I think because Schneidman used his extra vote on either JJ or Holly, I'm assuming JJ, he wasn't able to play it in the revote. So the revote was only 5 votes, 2 of which were for Sophia, and 3 of which were for 3 of which were for Sophia, and 2 of which were for me. So Matthew, Kayla, and Holly voted to save me, where Hager and Schneidman voted to save Sophia. Sophia goes home, so her and JJ are eliminated tonight. We get back to base camp, and we get to do some more chatting, and I chat with people, and it becomes firmly established that Hager has voted for me, along with Schneidman. So I want to talk to Hager, but this is where the alcohol kind of did me dirty, I think. And so I talk to Hager, and I tell him that I assumed that the 2 votes for me were both from Schneidman. He played his extra vote. Hopefully Hager thinks I'm an idiot, and that's what I really think, because it's like mathematically impossible. There are only 5 votes, but so hopefully Hager thinks I'm just an idiot, and doesn't realize that I miscounted, and I should have just known that he had voted for me. Maybe I can say tomorrow that like I looked again when I was less drunk and I realized, but anyway. So I tell Hager that, and Hager's worried that when we get to the final 4 or 5, it's gonna be him on the very, very bottom, which I mean, honestly is in my mind the case, because in my mind it's still me, Matthew, Kayla, and Holly as the final 4, ideally, but I want to play Hager, and I want to try to get him on my side, so I talked to him a little bit, and he brings up Holly's name. And I love Holly. Holly is an amazing woman, but I do think she is a big threat. I mean, I think she really knows the game. She knows herself. She's very mature. She's very well spoken. She has previously had speaking engagements on podcasts and things where she's talked passionately about the things that she believes in and in her charity. So I know she's going to be able to elucidate those things well for the jury. So she is definitely a big threat, but Hager voted for me. And I mean, I'm like an elephant or a Christian. Like, I can forgive, but I will never forget. And I will never forget that Hager voted for me and put my name down. When it was my life or Sophia's life on the line, he was like, oh, I don't need Meredith, I want Sophia, and chose to let me go. So he had this frenemy alliance with Sophia where he had put Sophia's name out first, and so they were working together because no one thought they would be. So I proposed to him to try to get on my side of, oh, you know, people may not think we're working together. You voted for me, you know, everybody knows you voted for me, so why can't we be the frenemy alliance now that Sophia's gone? Why can't I be that person that you rely on? And I mean, I agree that Holly is a big threat. I don't think at this point I would vote Holly out, but 3 days down the line, who knows what's gonna happen, you know? I'm going to play the game how I play the game. One thing I've learned about Holly is she is an extremely loyal player. I watched some of the information around one of the other seasons she's played in, and like she bowed out of the final challenge to give the spot to one of her allies because they'd never gotten to a final, and she wanted, I don't exactly understand the reasoning, but it was about loyalty. And so I know that Holly is, and I have accurately pegged her as being like a very loyal player. Strangely enough, she was also voted biggest villain in that season, so maybe there's more to Holly than meets the eye. I haven't seen the villain side, and there weren't episodes of that season, so I wasn't able to understand yet, at least, why she was the biggest villain, but something I'll be looking for. But so hopefully I haven't fucked it up too much with Hager and he doesn't think I'm lying to him. And hopefully we can build this kind of fake frenemy alliance to kind of repair that relationship, keep him around at least so we can get out the sneaky snake Dixon and get out Schneidman, the real good talker. Schneidman is also somebody that I feel like we're probably past the point of no return in terms of an alliance because I haven't gotten to speak to him that much. I didn't get to speak to him at all today. I really wanted to, and I was trying to find an opportunity to, but it was always full rooms and things like that. But Schneidman used to live in Chicago. I live in Chicago. He actually used to live like literally a block and a half from where I live. He's involved in the theater scene, which my husband's in the theater scene or was, and I play on a theater softball league, so I have a bunch of friends in the theater community. So I was hoping I could kind of play that up and like make that a possible alliance. I think we're past the point of no return, but potentially if I can get him alone and frame it as like, Schneidman, I have not been pushing your name. After we talked, I knew you were a Chicago guy, a Chicago theater guy. Like, I wanted to save you, so I was pushing Rachel's name. I voted for JJ last round. It was a split between JJ and Dixon that you weren't even on the table until Dixon left. Like, I feel like there's a way I could frame it to make it seem like I was pushing to save him, but it might be past the point of no return because he did vote for me, at least I'm assuming, and I'm really going to talk to him. So that's that. But what else? Sophia's gone. I'm glad about that. She was I could tell she was going to be a really hard person to beat at the end. Really good competitor, great person, love Sophia. But I am glad that it was her that inadvertently was eliminated tonight and not me. What else? What else do I have to tell you? Fake Hager Alliance. Trying to get closer to Schneidman. Didn't play the steal a vote, but it turned out to be okay. I was really worried there for a second. Yeah. There was another advantage that was sent out tonight. I did not get it. It was some sneaky thing with all the mods changed their name to Sneaky. I was too slow on that. I was talking to Hager at the time, and I'm pretty sure he was fully engaged in our conversation and not looking for it. So I'm pretty sure it's not Hager that has it, at least. But beyond that, I have no idea who could possibly have it. There could be another compass out there. There was a compass from yesterday. That could be the compass that Scheinman played, or it could have been, he could have had a compass from earlier. The shortcut has already been played, so it's good. I know I still have my steal a vote. Schneidman has used his extra vote. Holly has used her extra vote. So there's potentially one compass out there, potentially a safety without power, and potentially something else. I don't remember. This is too long anyway. I'm sorry. God, I'm the Anthony of this season. Anthony, I love you, but you're a talker. But yeah, I'm definitely the Anthony of this season, I'm assuming. I think that's all. I'm glad I'm here. Glad I haven't been eliminated. I need to get shiftier, I think, but I don't know in what ways. But yeah, hopefully I haven't fucked myself over with my loose lips. And that is all. I'll let you go. Bye.
Okay, so last night was really hard for a myriad of reasons, but I guess we'll start with the exemption challenge. We all rolled up. We knew only one person could win the exemption challenge, be safe for the night at Crossroads. But we also learned that at Crossroads, 2 people were going home. Everybody would still only get 1 vote. And the 2 players with the most votes would go home. So already I'm thinking, okay, we've got 9 people left in the game. The splits are gonna fall somewhere around like 3-3-3. Even if, and that's considering that everybody is, you know, voting in tight groups. So I knew it was going to be a messy night of lots of conversation, but I did not know the end result quite yet. So the exemption challenge included the downward dog pose and yoga, which I wouldn't say I'm like a yoga pro, but I'm somebody who does yoga for fun, for anxiety relief. So I am familiar, at least, with downward facing dog. And I felt pretty good going into it. But as I was holding that pose longer and longer, and we had to put our feet up on the wall at a certain point, so it was like all upper body strength, I just started to shake and tremble, and there wasn't that same flexibility of movement that I usually am able to fall back on when doing yoga for fun. So it was definitely the most difficult challenge that we've had so far, in my opinion. And I'd say that probably other players would agree with me. But I made it to the final 2. It was me and Kayla still holding on. And unfortunately, I just couldn't pull it out. And, you know, I might be kicking myself for that loss, because that might have been the loss that lost me the game. But, you know, I tried my best, and that's all I can really say for that. But I was glad that Kayla got it if I wasn't to get it. Kayla's my number 1 ally, so for her to have safety is you know, the second most important thing that could have happened, the best thing. So then we, you know, went back to camp. We were all talking in a big group just for a little bit. Holly had us all break out into smaller groups. I got a lot of good conversation with Dixon and with Kayla. Some later on good conversation actually with JJ and Schneidman. I absolutely respect. JJ was saying, you know, if you just take myself and Schneidman out, none of you are going to really have the opportunity to make these big moves, and like you should use me while you can. And so my brain said, yes, I will absolutely use you, JJ, and then I will vote you out also tonight. So my ideal plan going into it was, okay, let's take out JJ, because I feel still a little like I could work with Schneidman a bit more. And then people were tossing around Dixon's name to take out JJ and Dixon, but I really didn't want Dixon out. I think that he, as squirrely as he is, I think that he and I can still work together, and I think that Kayla also, Dixon has trust in Kayla, so the 3 of us could continue to work together. But so after talking to JJ, and I brought up to the group, including Dixon and Kayla, I said, hey, what if we take out Holly? You know, she and Matthew and Meredith had been hanging out in this one room together talking for like at least 15 minutes, like really making it seem like those 3 are tight. And I got thinking, you know, if we make it down to 7 and those 3 are so super tight and they like Hager more than me and Dixon and Kayla, then that's going to be a problem. So I thought we really have to take out one of that alliance, the core alliance of 3. So I threw out Holly's name. Then talking with Kayla later on, she told me that actually we got to take out Meredith if we're going to do this. She said she was a little freaked out that I brought up this plan. It was a little crazy, but we decided to go for it anyway. I said, okay, if we can talk to Schneidman and JJ, we'll have enough votes to vote out Meredith. Because Meredith has the steal a vote, apparently, which I didn't know about, but Kayla told me, so all the better, I guess. And I really didn't think she was going to see it coming. But I was only able to talk to Schneidman when we got to Crossroads through a whisper room, and I was like, you have to tell JJ, you have to vote Meredith. And I told him this is to save you, to give him an extra layer of urgency to kind of make that move, even if he was unsure about it. But I think what ended up happening in the end was I voted Meredith. I think Schneidman voted Meredith. Dixon couldn't vote. He used safety without power, which actually I'm a little bit pissed about because I'm pretty sure if he had stayed, I would not have gone home. And I can't help but hope that that bites him in the butt a little bit. We'll have to see. And I think Schneidman used his extra vote to put a vote on Holly. So there was 1 rogue vote on Holly and 2 on Meredith. And then there were 3 votes to JJ from the Adam Alliance. So JJ automatically went home, but then JJ voted for me, and I think Holly voted for me. So then I had 2 votes, Meredith had 2 votes, and it had to be a revote with us. And that revote was Hager, Holly, Matthew, Kayla, Schneidman. And I was like, okay, I think that Kayla, Schneidman, and Hager will all vote to keep me in. I've been talking to all of them. I can work with them. Matthew and Holly, I knew would vote my name to keep Meredith in because they want to work with her more. Unfortunately, somebody let me down a little bit. I don't know for sure who it was. I have an inkling that maybe it was Hager, but I don't know. I'll be curious to see what happens next. But that is the end of my Expedition Online journey for this season, at least. I just have to say that I had a really fun time playing, and I can't wait to see how the end of the game plays out. I know it's going to be crazy if last night was any indication, but yeah, that's all I got for now.
Okay, day 10. Oh, friends, what an evening of Expedition Online, let me tell you. Now, I knew going into tonight that JJ and I had our work cut out for us. We just lost our closest ally. The people who said they wanted to work with us were lying to our faces. JJ blew his compass. I only had an extra vote. It was going to be tough. We were in the shit. And then we find out what the challenge is, and you have to start doing a downward dog, and then you have to put 1 foot on your wall, and then you have to put your 2nd foot on the wall and hold it. Now, I don't know if you know this about your boy, but yoga ain't exactly my bag. I'm about as flexible as a plank of wood. So I knew this one was going to be tough. But going into the challenge, they said, keep your eye out. There might be an advantage. So I remember on day 9, when we did a challenge, there was a room that opened to a compass clue. And so we're in the middle of the challenge, and I'm checking everybody out, and I'm like, they look comfortable. I ain't winning this thing. Let me drop out now so that I'm primed in case something pops up. The challenge happens. I don't win. Kayla wins. Good on you, Kayla. I'm like, fuck, there wasn't a clue. Then I remembered. Jonathan, normally before a challenge, says, will you be buried in the ashes or rise above the competition, whatever the fuck. But he changed it tonight to something about lava. Something that I could not remember. So I just start throwing things at the wall. Burned in the lava. Carried away by the lava. Lost in the lava. None of it's working. None of it's working. None of it's working. I finally find a room with JJ, and I ask him if he remembers what Jonathan said. And so okay, edit this together. So I find myself in a room with JJ, and I ask him if he remembered what Jonathan said that was different. And he remembered something about burned in the lava like Vesuvius. So I typed that in. That was the first step. And then I had to find out the names of all the past Expedition Online winners. So I'm scrolling through the YouTube pages, finding the transcripts of all the winner interviews. I get all the names in, and I get a compass! Finally, I get a compass! I'm like, okay, I ain't going home tonight. Oh, and there was one more thing. 2 people were going home. So I'm like, oh, no. It ain't going to be me. Let's see if we can get these votes off JJ. Holly's telling us she wants to vote for Dixon. Hager talks to me and wants to build trust with me. And then we get to the crossroads, and everything goes kablooey. People are whispering in this room, in that room. Can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? I have no idea what to do. I am pounding the table, reminding people that even if JJ and I are gone, only 3 of them are getting to the end. You don't want to be on the outside of that. So I'm feeling good about Meredith, because at this point, I'm willing to do whatever somebody is willing to tell me to do. What power do I have? I have to do what I'm told. I can't come up with ideas. I have no relationships with these people. Use me as a number, you dumb fucks. Anyway, they're not dumb. They're great. Hager shows real interest in me. He's like one of the first ones, besides Sophia, to show interest in my existence. And Holly and I have a chance to talk after she completely lied to my face, and she blamed it on Dixon going nuts, whatever. I didn't buy that. Sophia didn't talk to me at all until the whisper room at the crossroads. So Hager talking to me like I'm sentient. Hager, I'll do whatever the fuck you tell me to do. He told me to vote for Meredith, so I did. Dixon thought there were more votes going on Holly. And so I was like, my only chance to save JJ is if I guess the other person right. So I threw my second vote on Holly. It did not work. JJ got the most votes. And then I put a vote on Meredith. Meredith and Sophia tied, and they voted out Sophia. Fuck. So that didn't work out, but I used my compass, and I'm okay for tonight. I'm in the final 7. After the crossroads, Hager and Dixon just were pounding the table. This is the group. Me, Hager, Dixon, and Kayla. Kayla, who I barely talked to, but I'll try to find a chance to connect with her. And we outnumber the other 3. But there's fear that Meredith has a steal vote. So we got to figure that out. I don't know if I'm going to be on the top of that other side's hit list. That'd be stupid of them, right? I don't know. I don't know if your boy John's going to be on the top of that hit list. Anyway, right before the night ended, I noticed all the mod usernames changed to Sneaky. Your boy's been down this road before. So I type in Sneaky, and I'm told that tomorrow I'm going to have a chance to win an advantage. If it's anything like what happened last time, I'm going to try to get that compass. So, my metaphor was like a duck, smooth on top, paddling below. I don't think I could be a duck anymore. I think if I'm a duck, I gotta be above the water, waving every one of my fucking limbs. That's going crazy. But what matters is I'm still alive. Weirdly enough, now that I'm the last rep of Team Wendell, I actually feel kind of liberated, because now the people are going to be clamoring for me. Because, why get me out now? I have nothing. And these people don't feel good about themselves. So, there's 6 of them, 1 of me, and I'll just do whatever the people who make me feel good tell me to do. I'm here, Hager. I'm here, Dixon. I'm here, Kayla. Use me. Use my dumbass. And I just got to stay in the shadows. Just drive through, sneak through. Just old John here, just staying alive. Do I have the ability to stay below the surface? I don't think I do, but just navigate through. ABJ, anyone but John. ABJ, anyone but John. Survive in advance. Whew. To the editors. I don't know. I have no idea how you're going to use any of this. Good luck. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind, but we're having fun now. What's the worst thing that happens? I get out. I've been expecting to go out for 3 days. Like, I'm liberated. I'm fucking ecstatic. Let's go. Let's survive. Survive in advance. Survive. Oh. We'll do that again. Let's fucking go. Survive in advance, friends. Survive and advance.